And the Lord's given us a lot of illustrations, actually. But consider this one. Remember Abraham. God tells him, go out and I'll make of you a great nation. Now, there are a lot of implications here. A lot of conclusions that Abraham's going to have to make along the way that God doesn't tell him. He tells him, I'm going to give you this son. Now, he waited a long time. He finally receives the son, and God tells him, now you go sacrifice that son, the one that you love. You go take him and you sacrifice him. He said, you go on out. I'll tell you where later, but you go on out. But now on the journey, Abraham's forced to make some conclusions. There's some implications in what God's saying. This is the promised seed. Abraham concludes, he must be going to raise him from the dead. He must going to do that. Because this is the promised seed, and we know that God can't lie. What is it? What is it? That's a conclusion. Abraham came to a conclusion. There was implications to what God had asked him to do, and he came to, even though it wasn't exactly correct, it was right. It was right because he reasoned on the promise, and it provided a conclusion that was acceptable, that he could honor God in, and he tells his servants at the foot of the mountain, I'm going up to worship, and I and the lad will return. What was that? That was a conclusion. It was an implication. He saw that God was going to do what he promised, and I'm going to do what he told me to do. And see, the end of that, and we have it now, that is faith. That is the definition of what faith is, the substance of things hoped for. He was hoping for something that God promised, and he knew the conclusion had to include Isaac. Whatever it was, it had to include it. Now that's a good implication.